Oh, that's the fun walk for the cure. That's
the cure for rabies.
Yeah.
Which is a threat. If you get it, you're dead. So, it wasn't that dumb.
Sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Kujo,
indeed.
It's Kujo. It's Spanish. It's not supposed to be pronounced Kujo. It's Kujo.
They must
think of the NHL goalie Kujo.
They pronounce it incorrectly in the movie, and to this day. And I heard, I can't think of Stephen King's son's name, but I heard him speaking recently. He's like, even my dad says Kujo now.
Stephen King said it was Kujo.
Yeah. It was definitely supposed to be Kujo. It's a Spanish name, I believe.
I haven't read that one, but isn't it? I would guess that it's a dog owned by someone who lives in Maine. If it's
I don't remember the specific location, but the basic premise is at the beginning, Big Saint Bernard, who's a sweet boy, is chasing a rabbit, I think, down a burrow, and he's bitten on the nose by a bat. Then he becomes rabid. And the main character is a wife who's been, I think, cheating on her husband. There's some infidelity going on, and she's trapped in a hot car that won't start with her small son. And in the novel, the boy dies. That's her payment for her infidelity. Her boy is taken from her by this. There's Stephen King's dark as fuck. But in the movie, of course, the boy wakes up and the wife, finds a 44 Magnum, and she blasts Kujo. It's a better
Taylor, how did you know it took place in Maine?
Because I've read a lot of Stephen King books, and he's from Maine, and everything.
They're all in Maine.
Yeah, they're all in Maine, or most of them are in Maine.
Derry is the town of Derry, Derry, because that's where. Castle Rock.
Castle Rock is where Kujo takes place.
Yeah. But I was just saying, he probably meant
all there
to be said Kujo, as an Americanized. Because if a family in Maine owns it, they're probably not saying Kujo. They would just say Kujo.
Well, it didn't though. It was the old junkyard man who owned the dog. But it was Kujo. It's definitely supposed to be.
Kujo is one I haven't read, and so I believe you.
And we used to joke about sniffing or snorting straight rabies before our football games. It was just pre-workout because
I was wondering, I was fascinated with zombies, especially as a teenager, and when I was 18, especially. Zombie movies were on the resurgence, and we were into the zombie survival stuff. And I remember thinking, what if you just got yourself a shipping container full of homeless men, and you infected them all with rabies? And waited till they were foaming at the mouth and turned them loose. Isn't that essentially zombies?
Yeah, a short-lived zombies.
How long? I think it takes a while for them to die. They'll live long enough to infect others.
People with rabies, they get what is it? Hydrophobia? They can't. Their throats don't work.
Is there a desire for people with rabies to spread their rabies? Is that a thing?
Well, they're going to be I know with animals, they get fucking kooky. It's eaten away their brains and made them insane. So they'll come around people and attack. I've seen people get just attacked by raccoons and possums and stuff, seemingly for no reason. There was that video recently where the guy's attacked by a squirrel. And it's why is that squirrel so angry? The guy was just sitting there minding his own business. And this squirrel doesn't just run up and bite him and run away. It's all over him. It's there's it's trying to kill him, and then he finally gets it off, and it jumps on his dog. The dog's yelping and trying to get away from the squirrel. Then the squirrel runs away and goes up a tree, and it's we gotta kill that squirrel and go to the doctor. I was always afraid of getting bitten by something rabid growing up.
You get afraid of water. You get afraid of fresh air.
Yeah. That's a terrifying way to die. Just a miserable way to die. I have to imagine rabies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
something's awful. Immune to rabies. Possums or raccoons.
Is it armadillos? Or wait, no, the disease thing. I think armadillos can carry leprosy. That's their weird disease thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe they're immune from leprosy, but they can carry it. I don't know. I didn't think anything was immune from rabies.
You're right. Some are less susceptible to it, according rodents, mice, squirrels, rabbits, opossums.
I like the idea of a zombie apocalypse with rabies, though, as some sort of fiction, because it's all the zombie apocalypses that start with something that's realistic. Those are to me always the scariest ones, like the cordyceps in The Last of Us. I didn't like the show, but I love the idea of cordyceps because that's a real thing that turns ants and slugs into zombies and is actively trying to spread to other life forms. That shit is scary. And I love the way that they explained it in The Last of Us. We're they're not capable of jumping to humans, unless they're able to adapt to hotter weathers, then they get into climate change, the world getting warmer, and all of a sudden cordyceps are able to jump into bodies because of it. I think that's a fascinating way to tell a zombie tale, but the Last of Us TV show did a terrible job at it.
It did.
How was 28 years later? You said you saw it.
Yeah, I loved 28 days and 28 weeks. 28 years, I feel like I'm a little bit disconnected from it. I love 28 days and weeks because I can put myself in that scenario. That's my world. That's going to shit. Those are people that I resonate with. That is a guy that I might know. That is a guy in his work clothes trying to run away. But in 28 years later, it's about like basically a tribe of people that have survived within England that are like bows and arrows. A bunch of people were born after the outbreak. So like now I no longer resonate or relate to these people. Now I'm in the world of fiction. Now it's more like a Lord of the Rings, if anything. But like 28 days and weeks, it terrifies me. The idea of being in a metropolis with a fast acting zombie outbreak that takes literal seconds to activate and turn the person into a raging monster. But that's taken away in years. I still like the movie, and it's set up for multiple iterations of 28 years because it ended with a bit of a cliffhanger. But 28 days and weeks, it's where it's at. Like I love those two movies.
I liked 28 Days Later. I don't even remember much about 28 Weeks Later at all. I think I've only seen it once.
The core of it is that like in that 28 weeks, all the rage victims like sort of died of starvation, and they're coming back to repopulate London, but very rarely they're immune to it, but they're still carriers, and then those people reinfect the people coming back.
Okay. Taylor, I would do yourself. I know you've been told to watch numerous movies and you don't, but I think it is worth it to watch the first 8 minutes of 28 Weeks Later. It's one of the most iconic horror movie scenes that I've ever seen. It is incredible.
Is that the man and his wife?
Oh shit!
Is that where the husband abandons the family? Okay, I remember that part of it.
I'll spoil it. The wife he left behind, who gets pulled off the window, is the one who's partially immune. So she's a bit of a vegetable. She's not holding good conversations, and one of her eyes is bloodshot. But she doesn't tell good stories. So one of her eyes is bloodshot, and it turns out she has the rage virus, but she's not really raging or anything. She's half with it. Yeah. And her husband kisses her, and he gets the virus. He instantly murders her, and then murders a bunch of other people. And now, of course, he told
Jeremy Renner has to step
in.
Oh, that would be horrible. That would be as traumatic for him as leaving the family. Is he's like 3 days later, he's like, man, what a horrible thing I was forced to do by my circumstances. The only thing to do now is be a weirdo vagrant and just keep my head straight and try and survive. And then you see you're kind of still with it, ex-wife, and you're like,
dude, that's a really
why
good
couldn't
scene.
You have just died?
The kids go back to their old house as they're repopulating London to see the old place, jump on their playground trampoline, stuff like that. And mom's there. And they're like, oh, good news. We got your kids. We recovered them. They're safe. Other good news. Your wife is still alive. And he's like, what? I told everyone I saw her die.
He should have had a girl. He should have had a girlfriend. That would have been hilarious if his girlfriend, wife. That would have been a fun scene.
That can't be true. I abandoned her. I watched her. If you torn limb from limb.
So I don't like movies where it doesn't get going if you don't have morons doing moronic things. And when those kids, what those kids are actually doing, they're going into a quarantine zone. I think maybe all of London, or at least this massive section of it, is walled off.
It should have been shoot to kill if you leave the quarantine zone.
It was, kind of. But because they were children, the soldiers decided not to kill them.
That's why you want Israelis manning those walls.
Right? They'd be like, it was that kid or me. I think I saw a rock in its hand.
Oh, good job. That kid might have been infected. Infected with what?
The 8-year-old man.
The 8-year-old military age man.
That kid had a rock. What are you talking about?
It's a good movie though, Woody. If you liked Weeks and Days, go watch it. But I do think there's a little bit of a dissociation with it being so far out into the future. It's hard to relate to.
I was so excited about it. I rewatched Days and Weeks in the last month.
Exactly
so.
what we did. Exactly.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, exactly what we did. Absolutely worth watching, though. Go watch Years. Go watch Years. Don't let me turn you away from it. It's still a good movie,
It
but
sounds
I like
like
Weeks
it's,
and Days more.
Is it a bit like sort of later seasons of Walking Dead where you've kind of gone
It's a
tribal?
great
and
comparison.
Okay.
It's a great comparison.
I bet there's a lot of interpersonal stuff, or is there maybe other factions and resources fought over, and then eventually we leave the gate open?
Yeah, this isn't a spoiler,
God,
but it's cool to know that like the virus is only in the UK. So this virus works so quick that it's technically impossible for it to jump outside of the UK unless you bring it out physically, because it's not like somebody can get it on a plane, because they'd have to get infected on their way to the plane, and they'd instantly turn and get crazy and start running. You can't board the plane. You can't board a boat. So it's an interesting way to tell the story of like UK being isolated for the 28 years versus the rest of the world.
In 28 weeks, Taylor, I need pronunciation help. Is it heterochromia, the 2 different colored eyes?
Yeah.
People with heterochromia are immune to the rage virus because
there's not a lot of those guys. So
no, it's not super common, but they're here and there.
That's a cool mutation. I would love to have heterochromia. I saw a YouTube video about all of these rare human mutations. There's one that makes your bones much, much denser than normal, that like less than 1% of people have. There were a bunch of them. The bone one stuck out. It's like, I bet there's some UFC fighters that have that. And then it just explains how they work. Some athletes that have that, but heterochromia would be a cool one to have. I want to get a dog that has heterochromia.